Welcome to Take It from the Iron Woman. My name is Susanne Müller, your host and the Iron Woman. This podcast is about empowering yourself and others to make real changes in the world. You will hear from everyday, smart, sophisticated, hip people like you and me. Not everybody has to be an Iron Woman to impress the world. Together, we will learn from the sports and business leaders how you can become a more successful person as an entrepreneur or a leader. It's one step at a time, one day at a time. Take your steps now. Take your big steps now. Join me on this journey to success. Take It from the Iron Woman. We only have special guests, and in the month of March, we only have women guests. We have CEOs. This is the March CEO series. Today we go to Canada, to Ipek. Let's hear from her. I know there's a lot of changes going on in her world. How can we support her and what can we learn from her? Introduce yourself and let's have fun.
Thank you, Suzanne. I'm so glad to be here with you and thank you for inviting me. I am an insight coach and meditation advocate and teacher. Now, very recently, an author of a children's book. I have written a chapter on another book for adults. I'm an Ikigai coach, a Ho'oponopono practitioner, and I am a part of quite a few coaching initiatives like Annie Leib LLC and Shift Up Learning and Happy Work Environment. I have a program that I have created for executive assistants because I have been an executive assistant before becoming a coach. And I worked as an executive assistant for top-level executives for more than 20 years. I want to give back to that community because I know their pains and the things that require some support. I have created this Recreator program and training for executive assistants to empower them mainly. But I was born in Istanbul, Turkey. I'm originally from Turkey and I lived there until my mid-30s. And then in 2007, I moved to Ontario, Canada. Now I'm living in Sarnia. It's a border city with Michigan, United States. And here I live with my husband in a small and beautiful city by the lake. And we love it here. It's a very small population. And as I said, I started my career as an executive assistant, worked with the same executive for more than 9 years in a pharmaceuticals company until I moved to Canada. And then I worked again with the president of another pharmaceuticals company, also with president of a big manufacturing company afterwards. And then after that, I have decided to take a different path, started to look for my calling, which I have found was coaching and teaching meditation. That's my Ikigai.
Maybe for the listeners, tell us Ikigai is finding the purpose. It seems like you have done so many interesting things. And then the Ikigai, there was this calling, the finding the purpose. What I also see is sometimes it takes longer than just like, let's do this activity and this is the purpose. Sometimes it falls into your lap. Or how did that happen to you?
Well, finding out about what my calling is, it all started at the convocation ceremony of my son. He was graduating from university as a mechanical engineer, and I went to watch the ceremony, be there for him. And the guest speaker there, he started to tell us his story. And I have realized that he has touched through his work thousands and thousands of people's lives. And then I turned around and looked at myself and said to myself, look, I am doing a good job with what I do as an executive assistant, and I'm making a difference in many people's lives. But this is not enough for me. I want to make a bigger impact in more people's lives. And how can I do that? I love meditation, and I have been coaching other executive assistants, other administrative assistants who wanted to become executive assistants. I already had some kind, basis for that. And I started to explore that opportunity more and realized that I should get training on this, and I should become a coach, because as soon as I realized how powerful it is, how amazing to change someone's trajectory, their perspective, through just making them realize the potential that they already have, it has been life-changing for me. I found my calling.
Let's go back a little bit to the executive assistant. For what we know, sometimes or most of the times, the executive assistants are running the show for everybody. Where do you see opportunities for others to help, and what tips do you give them in that program you're putting together? I think that's very interesting.
It is an interesting position, really. When you look from outside, it feels like, yes, they are running the show. But when you are inside and when you are the one, it's very different, because on the contrary, because everybody from the outside thinks that the executive assistants are the ones who are running the show, the way that people approach them becomes so different than any other team member. Because in general, people feel like executive assistant is the closest person to the boss. I should be very careful with my communications with that position. But that reality is putting the executive assistant to a lonely space. Mm-hmm. And executive assistant's position is very interesting because it is right between the boss and the boss's team. Like if the boss, let's say, is a president, underneath him, there are directors or vice presidents and all kinds of top level people. And executive assistant is right in between them. But she's never a team member with those executives. And she's never with the same level with the president, obviously. It is in between levels. It is a lonely place. Yeah. With my training, with my program, I try to help them to be more self-confident, be more assertive, and have better communication skills and grow their emotional intelligence. So there are quite a few areas that we work to make their lives more pleasurable, more exciting.
In such an important position, now that you kind of like demonstrated where that position is, it's a lonely place, and you need to be a strong person to be that lonely in a way. Is the CEOs and all the other C-suite positions, it's a lonely position. Then how do you balance your life? You don't have too many friends in an organization in a way, because you have to keep stuff confidential. Or
Exactly. You cannot share much. You cannot give so much information, or you have to be very careful because you are the image of that office. It is a unique position, very different than any other white collar positions or work.
With a lot of responsibility. And
Yes.
But now you left that behind. You closed that door. I think this is fantastic to go with your passion and do what the calling is now. Tell us now what's happening. You mentioned meditation. You got some classes, or how did you get into that?
I run some meditation master classes from time to time. Lately, I didn't do that because I have been quite busy with other projects. But that's how I started. I started with meditation master classes, and then I joined Insight Timer app as one of their teachers. Actually, the exact date was May the 7th, 2021. That was when I started as a teacher there. And I have been creating meditations and recorded meditations, and I have been putting on the app. But I also do live meditations twice a week through the app again. So Wednesdays and Sundays. So through that, I have met amazing people. I have more than 1,000 followers there. And since then, since May, in 9 months, a little bit more than 9 months, there have been 50,000 plays of my meditations so far. It has been an amazing journey, and I'm very grateful for that. And also, I am offering gifts of my one-on-one coaching and mentoring to my friends who attend my live events once a month. That is creating an opportunity for me to get to know them better. I love it. I really love it.
And it seems like through the pandemic, you can do many things virtually. That's how we met, through a virtual networking event. And also the meditation, you can reach many more people. And I think people are receptive now that mental health is so important, that we take care of ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. And that's, to me, in terms of meditation, I believe that if everybody meditated in the world, everybody, there would be no wars. There would be so much more positivity, and there would be much less negative anything out there. That's one of my life missions, to have as many children and young adults to grow with that notion and meditate. I have quite a few children's meditations, for example, that I have recorded and I put on Inside Timer. And also I have written a children's book.
In some countries, they add meditation and mindfulness for the children, and they've seen so many benefits. It's about, in our crazy worlds, to be on the phone all the time. No, take the time and be outside maybe, or meditate and become quieter. I think that's what's missing. We're so busy, or we think we need to be busy, but rather it's the opposite.
I think meditation should be a part of the curriculum of every school everywhere in the world. All this hyperactive children, all this, so many problems that we attach or label our children with would disappear if meditation would be implemented regularly every day in schools.
How can we help you? How can we start this movement and implement it? How can you and I do that?
Let's start a worldwide campaign, and let's ask school boards all over the world to. Well, there are some countries in East Asia, especially, that are implementing that with their children at schools. I believe it should be worldwide. It should be everywhere like that.
Okay, let's get started. A lot of work ahead of us.
Let's start the movement.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and all the best for your new career. Thank you.
You are most welcome. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Suzanne.
What a lovely and uplifting conversation. What are you taking away? Take it from the Ein Woman. We have episodes every Monday, every Wednesday in the month of March, only with wonderful women who are change makers. Learn from them, learn with them, reach out to them. Thank you so much for your support.